This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
And Bill is the king of college football talk, and today, I guess, Bill, is the start of talking season. Big 12 Media Days underway. How you doing?
That league, guys, is as unpredictable a preseason listing that I've seen in certainly my existence. There's any number of teams that you could say could win that league, and you're not just trying to hide.
So, I mean, Brett Yormark is hitting on that a lot. We talked with someone yesterday. Connor O'Gara called it America's Conference, I think, for the reason that you said, just because there is no – I mean, I know Utah's the favorite, but there is no Georgia. There is no Ohio State. There isn't a program that you're pointing at and said, this is the blue blood of this conference right now, which, I mean, does it make it more interesting than other leagues?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't think it's more interesting in the SEC and the Big 10, but I think it's a league that 14 years ago looked dead and now is the third best league in all of sports, college sports. So I think they've got a lot going for them.
Yeah, a little.
What about Colorado? I think they're up to speak and everything going on there. Is there Colorado go to a bowl game this year? How do you realistically? I know they're America's darlings last year, and with Dion, his boy, and Travis Hunter, who I think could be the best two-way player since Charles Woodson. Have they made a splash? Are they going to do anything this year?
I think that roster is iffy. I really do, and I think. I would probably bet they're not in a bowl game. Now, they have a fantastic quarterback, as you just mentioned, and they've got some players that will stand out. Paid a lot of money for a five-star offensive lineman in recruiting that I assume is going to start at one of the guard positions. But I just don't think, as of right now, they're a 7-win type team.
You know, I'm looking at programs. You know, Sonny Dykes has finished speaking. Well, I guess he's got another minute left in his segment, and then in about 20 minutes, Scott Satterfield from Cincinnati will be up there. And, you know, you wonder about TCU is what is the program under Sonny Dykes? Is it the team that competed for a national championship his first year, or is it the team that finished under 500 the next season, or they're somewhere in between? Cincinnati's just really it's interesting to see. It's a program that has fallen off majorly since Luke Fickell left for Wisconsin, but you know, we thought of them as one of the best, if not the best, Group of Five program for many years, and they found it really tough jumping up into the Big 12 last year.
I get a sense that TCU is looking a little bit like Baylor. They won 3 years ago. They won the league, right? Had a fantastic year, and all these predictions about the future, and it just bottomed. I don't know if it's going that far. I can tell you, TCU is very much in the bag game, meaning paying players. And I'll just give you an example, the pitcher they got out of Wichita State, Tennessee wanted badly. And they're really, and obviously all this is on the up and up, they're spending money. That part I'm confident in. I just don't know if their future, I don't know if a couple of years ago that was a big misleading year for them as far as what the future entails.
Well, you're looking for stability, you know, and I guess it's really difficult to continue being stable when you play for a national championship your first year. Right. Like looking at K-State, you know, Iowa State, there's been stability there, but there is no program in the Big 12 that is more stable than Oklahoma State. And Mike Gundy's entering his 20th year there, and I don't know, that's Arkansas plays them the second week of the season. Bill, I think that's just an amazingly important game for Arkansas. And that's a program that I could see with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. It's not like Oklahoma State will dominate the Big 12, but they can certainly ascend and maybe even be maybe a little bit better than they have been over the course of 19 years under Gundy.
Under the category of evaluate players that might be 3 stars, and not only evaluates them correctly, but nurtures them, makes them better. Gundy's right at the top of that list. Wisconsin for many years was too, and Luke Fickell's going to do a good job there. But they absolutely do that, and they're a threat. And Lance Leipold at Kansas is a fantastic coach. And if they get people stop some on defense and they keep their quarterback, who's very good, healthy, they're going to be a threat.
Hey, who's the biggest brand right now? Is Texas and Notre Dame, in my mind, they feel like they're up there. I know Ohio State is as well, but in your opinion, with Saban stepping down at Alabama, are they still there? Who would be the biggest college football brand right now?
It would be Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, Alabama. And I'm probably leaving somebody. You could throw Notre Dame in there, Michigan. Those are really, really deep, rich blue bloods who have everything you want. Resources, support, cash flow, positive momentum, whatever the category is, they've got all of that.
One program you didn't throw in there was Clemson. If you were to say 5 years ago, they would have been on that list. They might have been at the top of the list.
Yeah, quarterbacks we've talked about, guys. They're not what they were, and that's probably not a fair assessment to compare yourselves with Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson, but they're distantly behind that level, and they just don't have the playmakers offensively anymore, and they're not getting them. Defensively, they've been salty, and maybe not with the defensive line superstars they had a few years back, but they're still really good on that side of the ball. They still recruit well. But it's the entire offense, and it's those coordinators meant so much to them, and they're not around anymore.
Hey, Bill, I was looking at the preseason rankings, and there's 8 teams that aren't in the top 25. Which one of these teams, in your opinion, has the best chance, if any? If it's 0, the answer is 0. But out of the teams in the SEC that are not ranked in the top 25, that's A&M, Kentucky, Auburn, Florida, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Vanderbilt. Is there a Cinderella there? Is there one of these teams that you think can get in that playoff 12?
I would pick A&M in that group. They have a lot of personnel. They're stabilized with Mike Elko. They're going to be salty on defense because that's what he does. And if they keep Connor Wegman, their quarterback, healthy, which has been an issue a year ago, I think they're a threat. I wouldn't bet on them or pick them to be in the 12. But if you say, Bill, you got to, in that list, who would be your favorite, and it would be the Aggies, I think, easily.
What about Auburn? Hugh Freeze there. I kind of see I'm with you on A&M in the 12th man, so to speak, but I kind of think Auburn could be one of those teams as well.
I like their future. I want to see more stability at quarterback. The biggest problem Auburn has is their 2 biggest enemies are probably the 2 best programs in America, and that's Georgia and Alabama.
Right.
And you have to deal with them every year. And you're probably never going to have better players than them, right? I mean, it's maybe 1 in 10 years. You've got better players than them, and that's maybe not even going to happen then. That's a problem. Now, you can still have a third loss somewhere and get in the top 12. But the SEC guys, as you know, you live there, is so jammed up now, man. I mean, coming out of there 9-3 is going to be a chore.
Absolutely, and we find it. As we cover a little bit of the recruiting on Arkansas, that it's even some of the in-state kids, some of the best in-state players have committed elsewhere. Maybe you've seen Marcus Wimberly, safety out of Parkview High School, or Omarion Robinson, pardon me, committed to Oklahoma. And he's the number 1 player in the state for 2025. Is Arkansas in a place where, look, I mean, you got to do better with your in-state kids. I think that goes without saying. But just like you'd said about the way that Mike Gundy, works with 3-star players more often than not, and develops them and finds ways to win with those programs. And thinking of Wisconsin previously, is that the kind of program Arkansas has to be in the SEC?
I'm afraid so, because the state's never going to produce any volume for you, and you do not have strangleholds in Texas like you did back in the old Southwest Conference days. It's tough. It's going to have to be brilliant evaluating. You can get stars, but volume is my point. And we were doing this. Of all the SEC states, Arkansas and Kentucky are probably the poorest when it comes to producing ball players, meaning volume of ball players. And that's where are you going to go steal players? Everybody's in Texas. Everybody's in Florida. They just got a big name out of Georgia. That was huge. But it's tough, man. Arkansas is a very difficult fit, unfortunately.
You know, I mean, it's almost like they're playing money ball. You know, it's
right.
the same situation as the Oakland A's all those years ago, where they have to find value where others don't, and sometimes even fit square pegs into round holes in order for things to find a way to succeed, I guess is the right way to put it. But that's Arkansas is playing a different game than Alabama or Georgia is. They're in the same league, but it's a different game. It
is. It's a different game. What Georgia can get done, guys. Georgia, number one, has as good, if not a better starting 25, 22 than most teams. But their 35 through 55 is ridiculous, right? Could be starting for so many teams. And it's hard to stack them up like that. And plus, guys, Greater Atlanta is about 7 million people. Ugh. Greater Dallas is 8 million. Greater Houston's about 7 million. If you got a place like that to tap into, it's wonderful. Arkansas doesn't have that.
That's right. Yeah, and the state of Arkansas doesn't even have half that population.
Right.
Hey, Bill. Last thing on another topic, just to finish on. What did you think watching when the baseball portal closed and not a single Texas A&M Aggie went with Schlossnagle to Texas, and just about all of them, all the really, really good ones, are staying at A&M?
It's amazing. Number one, they obviously love that coach, that assistant coach that they retained or hired. And not only that, but they're doing well in the portal. They're spending money. Texas and A&M are just going crazy. Those two lefties at Arkansas are you're going to love.
Oh, yeah. Calling
those games. So they're ridiculous. Ohio State kid I love, and I like Root too. But, no, man, it's this baseball stuff. I will take – I'm about to probably have to go see my priest after I say what I say. I've been watching the portal news more than I've been watching football depth charts. Today, guys. So forgive me, I've sinned.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.